Tonight on Cougar News, war with North Korea, students are worried.
Plus, a local professor is training for a life-changing climb.
Also, will a former COC football player play in the NFL? Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Emily Giordano.
And I'm Thais White. Here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. With the groundbreaking of the Newhall Ranch Bridge, bicyclists and Santa Clarita officials have a vision for a more connected city.
For years, the Newhall Ranch Road Bridge past Valencia Heritage Park has remained sidewalkless on one side.
All these things that you have today were not here 30 years ago, and they weren't supposed to be able to be done.
But the city of Santa Clarita is set on expanding the lanes of the bridge and constructing a sail and sidewalk for Santa Clarita locals by 2020.
Well, this is an amazing project that's probably been 30 years in the works, if you really want to get down to it. We're widening the bridge here on Newhall Ranch Road, west of McBean, going across the San Francisco Creek.
The carless commuters say it will greatly benefit less toxic air emissions and perhaps even provide quicker transportation.
Get out of your car and get in your bike, and it'll save you, it'll save your body, and it'll save the environment a little bit. That's the good thing. That's why I do it. And I've been in a wheelchair for 30 years now, and this is the only thing that keeps me in good shape.
Under this philosophy, members of the Santa Clarita Valley Bicycle Coalition pushed for this project to come together.
So we're really excited at the Bike Coalition about this project because the city has been working on arranging for the grants and the funding to do this project for the better part of 3 years. When we started as a local chapter of the Los Angeles County Bicycle Coalition, one of our main complaints from community members was that this crossing in particular was very, very dangerous because people tend to come off the bike path and cross immediately across Newhall Ranch Road where there really isn't a pedestrian crossing.
However, the vision of a more connected city comes with the necessity of preserving natural areas.
Well, the city, and I was privileged to head up the effort. We passed an open space preservation district in 2007, and since that time we have acquired over 9,000 acres around the city, and our goal is to literally surround the entire city with a natural greenbelt buffer that you will be able to get to by these trails we're talking about today, and it will never be developed. It will always be preserved.
Reporting for Cougar News, this is Mauricio LaPlante.
A Newhall man kept Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies busy last Wednesday night. 21-year-old Hector Gonzalez was armed with a knife in a Newhall neighborhood. When deputies arrived, Gonzalez fled and eventually wound up at a nearby apartment top rooftop. After several hours, deputies finally coaxed him to climb down, but Gonzalez refused to drop his knife, so authorities had to tase him. Gonzalez is being charged with battery, criminal thefts, and petty theft, and trespassing. Gonzalez was already being investigated for a separate case involving a bicycle theft.
On Wednesday, the Domestic Violence Center held an event at COC to raise awareness about sexual assault and abusive relationships. Here's Lisa Okafor with more on the story.
On Wednesday, the Domestic Violence Center of Santa Clarita held a Denim Day event at COC. The Denim Day movement was originally triggered by a Supreme Court ruling in 1992, where a rape conviction was overturned because the justices said that because the victim was wearing tight jeans, she must have helped her rapist take them off. Since then, wearing jeans on Denim Day has become a symbol of protest against destructive attitudes about sexual assault. Statistics show that 1 in 4 women are sexually assaulted, and 1 in 3 are in an abusive relationship at some point in their lives.
No longer hanging out with you, they're no longer returning your phone calls, because oftentimes the batters they look at this person as their possession, and they want to control that person. A lot of things come into play with abusive relationships, unhealthy relationships. I think the first and foremost thing is this idea of power and control. Some are more severe than others. No issue like with the domestic violence is the same.
The Domestic Violence Center is a local nonprofit organization that helps victims of domestic violence in the SCV. For more information on the Domestic Violence Center, you can go to their website at dvc-scv.com.
Them, to have emotional support, so we'll go to court with them. We also help with case management, so stuff like housing, food, clothing, jobs. We also have support groups in English and Spanish, and then we have individual therapy in English and Spanish. So we help with court, temporary restraining orders.
For Cougar News, I'm Lisa Okafor.
Did you hear about all the controversy with the University of California?
I did hear, but I know there's a lot more information that Aaron can give us. Aaron?
State legislators are suspicious of $175 million being mishandled by the president of the University of California. University officials are denying that the money was put into an undisclosed fund unavailable to the public. And state legislators are demanding access to the university's financial records, and they're under the impression that the UC's actions were criminal. According to the Santa Clarita's Assemblyman Dante Acosta, the mismanagement of the college's funds can result in higher tuitions for UC students. And in other news, the Santa Clarita Valley is trying to crack down on distracted driving to reduce traffic collisions. The sheriff has a new motorcycle unit consisting of 1 sergeant and 5 deputies. On April 29th, these deputies issued 33 tickets in only 8 hours due to cell phone violations. And the tickets range from $160 to $285. The Santa Clarita Sheriff is urging drivers to put down the phones while driving, even if it is hands-free. And in other news, an elderly homeless man was arrested on Sunday for robbing a liquor store and allegedly threatening the store clerk with his cane. According to the Santa Clarita Sheriff, the man became verbally aggressive, threatened the cashier with a walking stick, and left without paying for his beer. The sheriff arrested Carlo Martinelli under the suspicion of robbery. Martinelli's bail was set at $100,000. And that's what's trending. I'm Aaron Landon. For more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, check us out at cougarnews.com.
North Korea and the U.S. have been at odds for about a half a century, but recently tensions seem to be rising towards a potential war. COC reporter Gilbert Bernal spoke with students to see how they feel about it.
Kim Jong-un.
You're an adversary of the United States.
He's like a maniac.
In recent news, rumors of war keep exploding across headlines, and the idea of another conflict with North Korea has become a growing concern. Within just a week, President Trump ordered a missile strike in Syria, dropped the Moab in Afghanistan, and on a Fox exclusive interview,
we are sending an armada.
Kim Jong-un doesn't seem to be flinching. A video recently surfaced showing an audience applaud as an animated nuclear attack on U.S. soil play in the background. As the threats increase daily from both sides, how do these rumors of war affect the students' vision of the future they're working so hard to secure?
Like, if another war happens, like it happens.
I'm kind of scared though, because I hear like rumors.
I think that fear-mongering that's saying that North Korea is this, North Korea is that, just kind of dumb and kind of harmful.
I have a couple friends who are in the military right now, and it just scares me.
It's like kind of weird to say, but I don't actually really think about it that much or worry about it.
Is the world on the brink of World War III? Here is what Phil Gusson, professor of political science at College of the Canyons, had to say.
I don't see that as being a possibility, which is not to say it's impossible, but I think it's incredibly unlikely that it's going to go ahead and create a conflict, because everybody loses in that kind of exchange. The solution to this problem is going to be dictated primarily by South Korea and North Korea. I mean, they're going to have to come to some agreement. There's going to have to be some involvement on the part of the Chinese. My concern is that the president of China is playing Donald Trump. And so what the Chinese government is going to be able to do is to extract concessions from Trump in order to go ahead and get something that appears like a compromise. So what I'm worried about is, more than anything else, is that the supposed author of the art of the deal is going to be outdealt.
Well, if you were like me and was concerned about the military actions taking place lately, hopefully this has answered some of those questions. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Gilbert Bernal.
College is a pivotal time in a young person's life where they can often be faced with adversity. Eric Harnish sat down with Cougar News to discuss the First Year Promise program and how it can help with the costs associated with college.
Well, the First Year Promise program is a new opportunity for first-time, full-time freshmen who will be entering the college in the fall 17 to attend College of the Canyons for a full year without paying any fees. The idea behind this is to expand access to education and help students overcome what is one of the most common barriers to education, and that is the cost. And here in California, the California Community College Chancellor's Office established a grant program. And so 51 colleges applied for an opportunity to receive a grant of $750,000. 14 colleges were chosen for that program. College of the Canyons was one of them.
Many students arrive at COC with no idea what they want to major in. Well, recently, COC has added the My Academic Plan, or MAP, to help students find their path.
Anybody can use this thing. It's not for, well, if you're this type of student, it won't work. It works for everybody. The thing that students really want to keep track of, and which we have on the website, is if you're transferring, make sure that you're going to assist.org to see what your major prep is. Because we don't build major prep into our majors here. So the only thing that it's doing is showing you your major coursework and your general education. In the student ed plan, you'll see there's 3 steps. We show you, you look at your progress, you plan out your classes and your timeline, and then the 3rd step is see a counselor. Those are the kinds of things we're hoping students really pick up and are able to get a tool that will help them guide it. We know how hard it is to do an ed plan. So that this tool makes it 1,000 times easier.
A local Santa Clarita vocal instructor hosted a benefit concert to support a nonprofit organization that helps save animals all over the world. Cougar News reporter Kaja Doros has more.
Singers from all over Santa Clarita gathered last weekend for a charity concert at the Escape Theater in Canyon Country. Performers of all ages took the stage to raise money for a nonprofit organization called Mercy for Animals, which contributes to creating a more humane lifestyle for all types of animals all over the world.
Because we're soloists and I work on the individual voice, it seems to me that people think that they can do whatever they want with their voice, and they're not part of a team and they're not part of a cast. So instead of just being this solo drifter singer that's not in a choir or anything, I like to put these together so that people can do something with their craft and contribute to something greater than themselves. And it gives them a sense of well-being to give their voice. And hopefully they'll continue after they grow up and do other things. They'll use their voice to make the world a better place. Today we did Mercy for Animals, and then a couple months ago we did War on Want. It's a UK-based charity. And then before that we did Perception Travel, and it just so happens that I have 4 kids, but 3 of those kids are involved in those nonprofits.
This is the 2nd time I've participated in a show that helps raise money for different organizations with my music. This is important for our community because it helps raise awareness and money for all animals in need, and while we're supporting, we can also have fun and listen to music.
This local event gives Santa Clarita residents the chance to share their music while also helping a great cause. For Cougar News, I'm Kaja Doros.
For families of children suffering from cancer, a lack of treatment can be a hard reality. One local group, Jack Angels, hopes to change that. Ian Murray has more.
An organization by the name of Jack's Angels held a 5K marathon at Vasquez Rocks this weekend in order to raise awareness for children's cancer. Founder Janet Demeter was driven to create the organization in 2012 after losing her young son, Jack, to DIPD. According to Janet, the main obstacle to curing cancer is bureaucracy.
Here, there's not enough numbers for investors, and it's unconscionable. It has to change. It's a lot of hard work, and it's all volunteer, and it's hard to raise money.
For Janet, however, the outcome of the goal is worth its challenges.
Every child is a life, not a number.
For information about where to donate or future events, visit www.jacksangels.org. For Cougar News, I'm Ian Murray.
Hosting world-class events is nothing new to Santa Clarita, but one in particular seems to really enjoy making the area an annual stop. Here's more with Cougar News reporter Jed Bookout.
For the 9th time in the race's history, the Amgen Tour of California will pedal through Santa Clarita 2 weeks from today. A 7-day event, this prestigious bike race features elite professional teams from not only the USA but around the globe.
It's a great opportunity to have a chance to ride here, because especially for us US domestic teams, we don't race often with the big teams, and I'm Tour of California. It's a good place to see how we are.
Last year, downtown Newhall served as the finish line, and this year, Stage 4 will see the field race from Santa Barbara to just outside the Westfield Pavilion on Magic Mountain Parkway. Event organizers used this same location in 2013 and in 2015 when Englishman Mark Cavendish sprinted across the line first. Unfortunately, Cavendish is out this year with an injury. The Amgen Tour covers over 575 miles and will wrap up in Pasadena 2 weeks from this Sunday. For Cougar News, I'm Jed Bookout.
If you're interested in seeing the finish of the 99-mile stage, you should be at the mall by 3:30 p.m. Coming up on Cougar News, the ASL Spring Festival hits COC. We'll explain.
Plus, do you know what to get your mom for Mother's Day? Find out after this.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
They've been very caring. They care about every single student that's in the class.
Yeah, everyone seems to be like pretty friendly with each other. Like no one's really afraid to ask each other for help.
Working with other people, not being ornery, actually, listening to what people say, collaborating with them to create a really good product.
It's great to use the same stuff the pros use, especially at a community college.
Hopefully we give them a pathway to have their creativity showcased.
I've gotten a great education.
I love the access to equipment.
I've made lifelong friendships.
I have great teachers.
You're watching Cougar News.
A passion of her education, it is pushing this nonprofit worker up to 19,000 feet to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa. It will take a lot of endurance, training, and patience, but it won't stop this 53-year-old woman from reaching the summit. Sammy Giebers reports.
5, 4, strong grip, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go, Amy.
With a goal as large as the mountain she's training to climb.
Come hell or high water, I'm making it to the top of that mountain. It's over 19,000 feet.
Push up, strong push.
Amy Daniels needs to push, lift, and fight through the workouts.
I think you jipped me.
4.
Her main goal is obviously to summit the mountain and hopefully pain-free.
Accomplishing a goal like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro is no easy task, which is why Amy trains more than 15 hours a week in preparation.
Those are the missteps you may take on that hike.
It's quite a heavy goal. We don't come across it too much.
But she's not setting that objective just for herself.
It's time for the entire community to get behind our local public education.
She's taking a stand, or a climb, towards funding school materials in Hart District schools.
Because every student deserves the tools they need in the classroom.
And as executive director of the Wish Education Foundation,
the reach of a donation like this can have such a lasting impact on the students.
Big smiles. She sees firsthand how supplies help in the classroom.
I have the luckiest job in the world because I've had that opportunity to see how it impacts the kids.
Rest. Excellent.
And with the support of friends and faculty from Henry Mayo Health and Fitness,
It's a great relationship.
2.
she's going to keep up with the push-ups, runs, and sets.
Hell yes, I'm 53. Let's go for it. Why not?
If I had to describe it in one word, I would say commitment.
Because Amy is committed to reaching the summit in Africa and providing quality education in the classroom.
5, 4, strong grip, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go, Amy.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Sammy Giebers.
College of the Canyons ASL Club hosted its 8th annual Spring Festival. Many came out to support, including famous deaf performers Bob Hitlerman, C.J. Jones, Vay, and Brian Morrison. Reporter Josh Thomas has more.
The 2017 ASL Spring Festival went off with a bang. The ASL Club brought together a variety of performers for everyone who attended the festival. And some performers even threw in jokes here and there.
All kinds of people, and you don't know if they're deaf or hearing. But I will give you some telltale signs of how to spot a deaf person. Here you go.
Lesson number 2, learn how to give. Don't think you have to. Lesson number 3, use your head. If they think you're good at listening, then they get it bad. Lesson number 4, learn how to listen.
Performers even incorporated some of the audience members to join them on stage.
I want to dance all night with you.
Attendees enjoyed food from the habit and had the ability to help support the ASL Club by purchasing merchandise or buying a ticket for the raffle. Along with a raffle was a small ASL idol people can perform in. With Cougar News, I'm Joshua Thomas.
Last week, the University Center offers students medical advice, information, and networking as part of the annual event. Reporter Betty Varela has more.
April 22nd, College of the Canyons University Center held its 5th annual PreHealth Symposium.
When you're growing up, you don't really know what you want to do, and we feel like this symposium will help them guide through what their dreams will be. Basically, this whole thing is a networking opportunity.
Dr. Seth Shushinsky, who grew up in Santa Clarita Valley, was the keynote speaker in the morning.
So I had open heart surgery when I was 5, and it wasn't directly that event that led me to my career in medicine.
Shortly after that, the workshop started, and students were eager to learn. Even the young adults were very focused on what these workshops could do for them.
I expect to find out the steps I need to take to pursue my career and know that I'm making the right decision so far as a junior in high school.
Well, as you can see, the hallways are pretty quiet right now. That's because everybody's in the rooms listening to their speakers. Reporting for the Cougar News, I'm Betty Varela.
Do you feel that freedom of speech is being threatened on college campuses? Aaron Landon finds out more.
When certain speakers are getting booted off of college campuses, many students are wondering, is a university still a place that truly harbors freedom of speech?
College campuses are the best environment for ensuring that free speech is alive and well in a democracy, is certainly in the United States. I think the political environment seems different today than it was 40 or 50 years ago. But the best way to combat ideas that offend us or we think are very dangerous to the governing democracy is with other ideas. The term fascism is thrown about a lot. Up in Berkeley, I know that there were a group of students, and are a group of students, that didn't want Ann Coulter, who is kind of a professional provocateur, as she's labeled, to be able to speak because they thought that her speech was very much hate speech and didn't have any utility. But of course, that's speech, and the utility of speech is very subjective. I think there's a dangerous precedent for students and other people to set by restricting anyone's right to free speech on a college campus.
When a speech does seem to promote ideas that can be interpreted as hateful, this leaves students wondering, is hate speech still a part of free speech?
They're being accused of shutting her down because of what she has to say. And many people don't deny that. They say they think she's spewing hate speech, and she very well might. But there is a constitutional debate about whether you can restrict someone prior to them speaking constitutionally because you think they're going to say something hateful.
Freedom of speech is when students can share ideas openly without being shamed for being on an opposing side of the political spectrum.
I think that colleges can do way more for freedom of speech. Right now, college, we're in a time period where we want to discover ourselves more and hear different ideas from other people. And that's why freedom of speech is so important, that we can have different dialogues with people and learn to be tolerant and have a reciprocal conversation, even though it's someone you don't agree with. That's the beauty of this country. I disagree with a lot of people, but I let them speak because that's their freedom and their rights, as is explicitly written in the Constitution of our country.
College is still a place that encourages freedom of speech, but it requires an open mind and tolerance of speakers from the opposing side. For Cougar News, this is Aaron Landon.
Art is a great expression of life, and COC celebrates the talented students in the art department in this year's 21st Annual Student Art Exposition. College of the Canyon's 21st Student Art Exposition holds some of COC's most talented art students' artwork, and it is placed in the gallery right here located in Entry Hall. The artwork speaks for itself, and it varies from sculptures, paintings, and sketches, all talent done by COC students. The art gallery may be very calm and collective, but the art on the wall speaks loud words. Taylor, one of COC's most finest art students, was honored in this year's art exposition when she received her own wall full of her most unique paintings.
The inspiration for them started about a year beforehand with another project. And I kind of wanted to reapproach the project and see how I could tweak it a little bit, because the other one was difficult in execution. So this one turned out to be super easy. Like everything just flowed right, it worked really well, and yeah, like about a month and then boom, I had them.
Larry Hurst, coordinator of the art department, is always honored to be a part of this exposition.
This show actually was easier than a lot of them for some reason. It went together quite easily. And one of the things that's nice about our student shows is we usually have a variety of work from most disciplines. Last year we had 2 video pieces, and we had a piece, an animated video that was selected for our student art collection. And about a year or 2 before that, we had a short video piece from Mia that was selected for our collection. We don't have an opportunity to run those yet, but I want them to be available at some point where we can have a screen, a TV running where you can see those. So we're, all visual arts are welcome to participate, and we have in this year, we have sculpture, printmaking, photography, graphics, drawing, painting, and it's nice to see a variety.
The 21st Student Art Exposition will go on for the rest of the spring semester here at College of the Canyons. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Thais White.
Hey, have you heard about that new clothing line, Damn Pigeon?
I think it's French, pronounced Dom Pigeons, right? John, can you help us out?
I got you covered. New York clothing designer Noxie moves to California to pursue her dream. Inspired by urban culture and hip-hop, Noxie started her own clothing line called Dom Pigeon.
I'm from Elmira, New York, originally. I lived there, I grew up there my whole life. I moved here when I was like 21. I can't remember, it was like 21, 22, something like that. And I've been out here like 5 years now, so I'm crawling up there.
Señores, les voy a decir quién soy.
Noxie talks about how it all got started, making designs on other people's clothing.
I had it in my head since like 09, you know what I mean? And then I was like buying other people's stuff and putting my little patches on it, my name on it, painting on it, whatever I could do to like make it swaggy words, spice it up, and then I just sell it. And I came to Cali with like 20 pieces like that, that were like somebody else's, yeah. And I just started handing them out when I got here, but I didn't really dig into it until I really got out in LA. Me, I'm all about the art, boy. Get the paper, in the chalk, boy. You couldn't draw. I don't have time to be mad or very happy and positive. I just spread the good. It's the secret lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Spread the good, it comes back.
Definitely.
That's the easy way to live, I feel, as if. And then whatever I want, I just work for it, set a goal, and honestly, like, set one at a time, get it, and then do another one. I mean,
I'll be up like all night chasing fear. With no formal training, how did Noxie learn how to design these pieces?
Because I just started making clothes and I loved it. I mean, never had no formal training as to what to do or who to ask or where to go. YouTube's a mug, you know what I'm saying?
Self-taught.
You know what I'm saying? And then once you make something dope, and then it's like you make something else dope. But by 15 dope things, you're like, okay, this is what you probably made to do, type thing. And I do a lot. I'm an artist. I paint. I rap. All types of shit. So this is just another form of expression that I just so happen to make my job full time.
To check out their clothing, log on to damnpigeon.nyc. For Cougar News, I'm John Nathaniel.
Santa Clarita is a city full of talent. Cougar News reporter Alana Martinez talks to a local actor about his success while living in SCV.
Dominique came out to California in 2013, just after graduating high school.
I moved out here to go to fine arts school at Otis College of Art and Design, and basically, long story short, it didn't work out 100%, and then I slowly but surely got into doing other things like acting and my clothing line and stuff like that, and those things have been going well.
When he was younger, he acted within his community, which gave him the inspiration to pursue it further.
And I used to, do plays and stuff like at church and at school like as a kid, so I figured acting would be fun. I didn't know it was like as serious as it is out here, because it's a profession, it's an industry, like it's a career. I didn't know it was that serious. I just got into it like, I need a new hobby, I need to do something. I'm like, every single day is the same thing for me at this point, things like that. But once I started to actually see how happy it made me, like that's when I really got inspired to like look into other things and, really take it seriously as a career and as a profession, instead of just like, I'm gonna do this, every few days a week because I like to do it, you know what I mean?
While he's been perfecting his craft over the past years, he's made a couple appearances in some well-known TV shows.
It started to get bigger and bigger. I started to do, TV shows back last year in 2016. And back in May, I booked my first TV show on MTV. It was Mary and Jane. And then in August, I booked Nickelodeon Game Shakers, which was what I was just talking about. And then right after that, it was Rosewood on Fox. And right after that, it was The Fosters on Freeform.
To find out more about him, you can visit his Instagram at Dominique_Morton. For Cougar News, I'm Alana Martinez.
Santa Clarita is filled with talented musicians. However, there are not a lot of venues to play at. Richard Andell has more on a group of individuals who want to make it easier for bands to spread their music.
It's crazy because like when we first did this, I remember we were like, dude, this isn't gonna work.
The Cowgrove Collective is here to help local musicians by providing venues to play in, as well as a place to record.
I mean, our goal would be to create a platform for musicians to come and get everything they need to become successful and get their image out there.
Partnered with a friend, they combine their skills in order to produce some quality work.
I am the resident audio engineer. I do a lot of the drums for the tracks here, and I founded it with Hunter, and that was probably about 2.5-3 years ago.
I started with a tour across the country with some friends, and we just decided to make a brand and keep at it after that.
A place like this can be considered an oasis for the local struggling artist.
Yeah, Hunter and Chet made like a place for musicians to come jam with other musicians and network with other people and to record their music.
For more news on upcoming shows, visit their website at www.cowgrovecollective.com.
Follow us on social media. Get out to our concerts. We got Repo LA going on all throughout Los Angeles for the rest of this year.
This is Richard Andall reporting for Cougar News.
Well, we have Magic Mountain, but I think the next step for our city is a big arena. What do you think?
I think that would be great. Let's talk to the mayor about that. Mother's Day is rapidly approaching. So what are you doing for your mother? Aaron De Los Reyes had a chance to talk with Jacqueline Sarkisian, owner of Flowers and More, to find out what promotions that are available for Mother's Day.
Mother's Day is right around the corner, and the best gift to give to your mother is a beautiful bouquet of flowers from a local shop called Flowers and More.
It's a very pleasant place to be at because we do flowers fresh cut every day. We receive flowers almost daily, and you will be very happy with our arrangements.
Though flowers don't live forever, why is it better than any other materialistic gift?
Flowers represent love and joy, makes people happy, and buying things, you could buy them at any time, but flowers will bring joy, happiness, colorful, springtime, good smells.
Flowers and More has also prepared tons of promotions for Mother's Day.
It's not just flowers. When you give flowers, it comes with cups, pitchers, tea kettles, and we have a lot of keepsakes that makes them happy because they will remember you all the time. When the flowers go, the keepsakes will stay. So that's a good thing. You can come to Flowers and More. We have specials going on $44.99, and you can have any of the ceramic keepsakes with flowers for $44.99. So that's a gift plus flowers, and I think that's the best way to celebrate Mother's Day. For Mother's Day, we hire extra help because we have minimum of 80 deliveries a day for Mother's Day, a whole week of Mother's Day celebration. And what we do is we work 17 hours a day to make all the mothers all around us, to make them happy with our fresh cut flowers. Families definitely come and help, and all the friends, they offer their help. And whatever you get, it's all love because we put all of our love in our flowers.
So don't forget to put in your orders. They also offer pre-made bouquets for your last-minute gifts, and they are located on 25918 Old Road in Stevenson's Ranch. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Erin Dulles Reyes.
Over the weekend, I went to Central Park to learn about how local Santa Clarita businesses can help with your next home improvement project. Here's more.
Thousands gathered for KHTS's 8th annual Home and Garden Show this past weekend at Central Park. This event was free to the public and featured over 400 local vendors. The small business-friendly event was a great way to connect the community to local businesses.
Get all of the vendors in the community, different business owners who are local to Santa Clarita, get them known so that people don't have to go to Lowe's and Home Depot and outsource. They can go straight to people who have families here, who live here, who know the area.
Over the years, KHTS has expanded the event due to its overwhelming popularity among residents.
It started really small. We started at the Hyatt, and it was a couple of booths, a couple of vendors, and then we outgrew the Hyatt. We had to come to Central Park.
The show also had an emergency expo to educate the community on first responders, as well as an Arbor Day festival selling desert-friendly plants. KHTS also gave kids the chance to play with animals from Gilchrist Farms in a petting zoo.
Despite the heat and the wind, the Home and Garden Festival was successful once again. For Cougar News, I'm Emily Giordano.
Still to come on Cougar News, Tim Strong with the sports segment.
And see how COC is celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is T-Boz at TLC.
This is Batman.
I'm Michael C. Morona.
And I'm Danny Tamarelli.
Hi, this is Ming Chen.
This is Mike Zapsik.
Hi, it's Louis Anderson.
I'm Rudell.
I'm Florence Henderson.
You're watching.
And 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 you lucky people are watching. Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
You're watching Cougar News.
And I'm a cougar.
Stay tuned.
Habitat for Heroes.
Really, it's a story about people.
Letting people see that they're not alone, they're not isolated. We're here to help.
And we need to work on behalf of our veterans.
Then we can really change that veteran's ability to reintegrate into the community.
Habitat for Heroes is not just rebuilding homes, but it's rebuilding lives.
And that's the message we want to get across.
Get involved. Visit habitatscv.org and find out how you can help.
What? This? Watch.
It's estimated that California will need 11 trillion gallons of water to end this 4-year drought.
Since 1994, COC has made an effort to ensure all structures on campus are built with earthquakes in mind.
The importance of accuracy is key to Paul Bond's reporting. Such a story where facts could be easily exaggerated might just cause Bond to return back to South Korea.
Although filming at College of the Canyons generates upwards of $1 million a year.
Today, everyone is here to celebrate one thing. Live.
More than 3,000 participants ran locally in support for finding a cure for spinal cord injury.
What are you doing? Go watch the news or something. Awesome town, I swear.
You're watching Cougar News.
Some may call him Papa Roggin or the Dean. Cougar News reporter Zach Ferber spoke with LA sports and TV legend Fred Roggin as he had the chance to reflect on his journey to Los Angeles, give a bit of advice to his future interns, and discuss his love for the radio.
When it comes to the LA sports scene, Fred Roggin has been on the beat for almost 40 years.
Fred has been on LA's local television sets since the 1980s, but has been on the airwaves since his college days. Roggin got his start at Phoenix Junior College, but only attended for a short time. While at school, he put together a small audition tape and caught a big break.
I found one in Globe, Arizona, 80 miles east of Phoenix. It's a city of 5,000. I went there. I was the nighttime disc jockey known as Uncle Fred, the kiddies' friend, the ambassador of mirth and merriment. Plus, I did the play-by-play of the local high school team, and that's why I wanted to go there.
Later on in Yuma, Arizona, Rockin' Roggin was on TV, he was a DJ, and still doing play-by-play. But not for what you think the best in the business would make.
So in Yuma, I did a radio show. I did the play-by-play of the local high school team, and I did TV for $5 a night.
While working the afternoon drive at KLAC AM 570, Fred talks about why he loves radio and also discusses what his show partner Rodney Peete brings to the table.
Radio is the purest form of communication because you are talking to people one-on-one. But in radio, you actually are communicating one-on-one to the listener. I like that. I like that very personal communication on a daily basis. The thing about Rodney is he's probably the nicest guy you will ever meet in your life. Sometimes too nice for the job, because you have to have a bit of an edge, and he does, but he does it in such a respectful and kind-hearted way that I find him to be very likable.
With the amount of work Fred has done, he can always provide his knowledge and advice to interns he's worked with over the years.
The most difficult thing to do when you get on camera is the most simple thing you do in your everyday life, and that's be you.
To listen to Fred and Rodney, tune in to Lunchtime with Roggin and Rodney from 12 to 2. And to see Fred on TV, be sure to watch him on NBC4. For Cougar News, I'm Zach Ferber.
NASCAR is known for its racing families, but they're not only at the highest level. Santa Cruz features its very own racing brothers. Amanda Moulton has more.
Coming from a family with a love for the racetrack, hopping in the driver's seat was second nature to the McNeil brothers.
Well, our grandfather, back in the 1970s and 80s, raced in NASCAR's Winston West Series, and he won 3 championships back then, and then sadly he had an accident that ended up taking his life in 1988.
Starting their racing careers young, Lucas and Jacob started racing around the age of 5.
Once we were old enough, we started racing go-karts.
Aside from a little friendly competition on the racetrack, Jacob looks at his older brother as a driving coach.
Someone that I can turn to, ask advice. A lot of guys go out here and they're just thrown at it. I feel like having an older brother who races is easier for me to pick things up that other drivers might not pick up.
Coming out of his rookie year, even with Lucas by his side, Jacob still finds himself getting anxious when getting into the truck.
I just want to go. I don't like sitting in the truck, having everything, all the belts tight. I don't like that. But once I fire the engine up, all the nerves go away, everything's gone. It's just, okay, down to business, let's go.
After racing trucks for 9 years, Lucas still feels the same.
I have a little bit of butterflies in the stomach, and then as soon as you drive onto the racetrack, it's all gone. Yeah. It's game face.
Checking over the car isn't the only preparation the team does before racing.
I'll turn the pillow and the blankets all around for just the day before a race. It's weird. What in the world?
Standing out from the crowd seems to be one of Jacob's favorite things about racing.
Not being the normal thing to do as a teenager or a 20-year-old. Just not having the same boring answer everyone else has.
Lucas has a little different feeling.
The adrenaline rush, for sure.
Being in the business for almost 45 years, Rick has some words of wisdom for Lucas and Jacob.
Be careful what you say and do, because it will come back to get you later if you're not careful.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Amanda Moulton.
So, are you excited to hear that our COC baseball team is going to regionals?
Yeah, it should be a really great game.
Tim, can you give us the stats?
Yeah, funny you guys mentioned that as we begin with baseball. The Cougars are headed to the SoCal playoffs where they will play a best-of-3 series right here at COC beginning on Friday at 2 p.m. And they head into the postseason with some incredible momentum. Things were tied up at 8-8 in the 9th inning with 2 outs when Cougar third baseman Calvin Estrada smashed a walk-off 2-run home run, giving the Cougars their first conference championship since 2009. I spoke to Calvin after the exciting win.
Trying to pass it to my teammates. Just trying to be nice and easy. Trying to just get it to my teammate, pass the baton, trying to not make the last out. Just happens. It, man. This is it. This is what you want, to be champs, to be #1 seed for playoffs.
The softball team also finished off another strong season. They will travel to Southwestern on Friday to begin their playoff quest. In the midst of preparing for their playoff run, Cougar News reporter Tanner Nava got the chance to talk with one of the team's biggest playmakers.
And now the COC starting lineup. Number 7, Melanie Abzu, center field.
If you haven't had the chance to watch the COC softball team this year, then you've missed out on the show that Melanie Abzen has been putting on. Abzen is the starting center fielder for the Cougars as well as their leadoff hitter. After growing up a multi-sport athlete, she realized her true passion was for softball, and she put her focus squarely on that.
I just like the game. I found it was fun to play, hit, field, run. It was a different sport to me, and my family had never played it.
Abzen is well respected by all her teammates as well as her head coach, John Wismath.
You know, Mel's pretty mature for her age. She's always come in the office. We'll come in and we'll talk some shop. She always wants to try and find out what she could do a little bit better.
Although she does spend much of her time on the field, she also has another hobby off the field.
I love photography. I have a professional camera, and I'll go around taking pictures. I love going out to new places, around the world. I want to travel one day when I get older.
Although softball has been such a huge part of her life, she knows that she won't be able to do it forever. However, she does have future plans that involve a different field.
I'm getting a bachelor's degree in criminal justice criminology, and hopefully go to law school after that, and hopefully become a lawyer and attorney.
Abzen is currently wrapping up her sophomore season as her team gets ready for the playoffs. However, she does intend to play for 2 more years at a university after she transfers from COC. For Cougar News, I'm Tanner Knopf.
In alumni news, former Hart and COC standout athlete Tim White signed with the Ravens. White was not picked in last week's NFL draft, but has found a home in Baltimore. After leaving COC, White transferred to Arizona State, where he finished with 113 receptions and 10 touchdowns. While at COC, White had 55 receptions and 6 touchdowns. He finished with over 1,500 all-purpose yards. White also won a national championship in the triple jump and was named Western State Conference Track and Field Athlete of the Year in 2013. The track team headed out to Moore Park for their final conference meet of the season. The Cougars were able to capture 3 individual conference titles. Sophomore Jasmine Hall won the women's high jump and javelin throw, while Dana Bowers won the women's shot put. Dion Yellis finished 3rd in the women's 800 meter, and Weston Lombardo finished 3rd in the pole vault. 28 COC athletes qualified for SoCal Championships, which will be held next month. The golf team continued their domination of the Western State Conference. The Cougars won their 8th straight conference championship on Monday by winning their 6th straight tournament in a row. They will travel to Oceanside next week to begin SoCal Regionals. And that's it for sports. I'm Tim Strong. Back to you guys for the rest of the show.
Thank you, Tim, so much for that. Vincenzos Pizza here in Newhall has been serving its world-famous pizza for almost 4 decades. How do they do it? Here's Don Riso with more on the story.
A hidden gem here in Newhall. Vincenzos Pizza has been serving its famous pizza for nearly 40 years, earning a unique reputation.
People have often mentioned us in the same breath as Pink's Chili Dog, Tito's Tacos, Felipe's downtown LA, the iconic restaurants of Southern California that go back years and years. Vincenzos is that for Santa Clarita.
Not only known for its award-winning pizza, Vincenzos is also known for hosting sports team dinners, live bands, and even weddings.
This community is so lucky to have Vincenzos here. Truly one of the best pizzas in the state. For 10 years we've won the best pizza in Santa Clarita, as the Signal had taste-offs at the local hotels, and every year we won it.
Some of Santa Clarita's best musicians have been known to play here.
Bring your family here, and you're not going to take them to a bar, but you can take them to listen to music here. You can have a beer, drink some wine, eat the best pizza in the state, eat our wings, listen to music, no cover to get in, great parking, iconic restaurant of Santa Clarita.
For Cougar News, I'm Domenico Riso.
Cinco de Mayo is until Friday, but COC started the festivities a little early. Jake Barabas joined the party.
The sound of traditional Hispanic folk music and the smell of a good meal. can only mean one thing: a fiesta. But this isn't just any fiesta. It's Cinco de Mayo. On Wednesday, May 3rd, College of the Canyons hosted a Cinco de Mayo celebration in the Honor Grove.
College of the Canyons, it's a Hispanic serving institution. It has almost 50% of the students attending have self-identified themselves as Hispanics.
The celebration featured delicious food, drinks, and live music, as well as performances by salsa dancers, and even a workshop where folks could go to learn how to make their own tortillas. While there are many aspects to Cinco de Mayo that may be fun and enjoyable, it's important to remember the holiday has a serious side as well.
It is a day, going back to history in 1862, when the Mexican troops defeated the French they were fighting the French. So it is a battle that took place in Puebla, Mexico, and from there later, in the 20th century, with the Chicano movement, they kind of used that moment in the history to celebrate the struggle and to bring pride and heritage and honors.
The festival was enjoyed by all and would not have been possible without time donated from volunteers. Reporting for Cougar News in the Honor Grove, I'm Jake Barabas.
And that does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Thais White. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Emily Giordano. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle, COC_Cougar News. Have a good night, everybody.